What's up, everybody? Sober Day number 66 here today, and with me, I got none other than my daughter, Kaylee.
Hello.
I'm going to interview her today about how my drinking has impacted her life and really find out what it's like from the other side. So, without further ado, before we get started, why aren't you wearing the shirt?
What shirt?
Hold on. And we're back. So,
I might steal it actually. Bring it back to college.
you are not taking that one with you. That is like my favorite one.
I'll take this one then.
Nope, can't take green either. I need 5 different colors for 5 days of the week. Actually, I need 7 if you get technical. My name's Eric.
And my name's Kaylee.
And I'm an alcoholic.
And I'm the daughter of an alcoholic.
So I was so excited that that you were coming on this weekend. But I knew we were going to be doing this interview. And originally we had it set up, you were going to actually interview me. But then I thought that made no sense. So I'm going to ask you.
Well, I can ask you questions too at some point. Like I'll if you ask me questions, then I'm going to like
try. I might bring up more questions. Yeah. I like that. So, first of all, I'm going to ask the toughest question probably right off the bat. How did my drinking affect you growing up?
I want to start crying.
Don't cry, because if you cry, I'm going to cry.
Well,
how did it affect you the most, like as a child growing up with an alcoholic parent?
Well, I mean, like, I guess growing up, like, in the beginning, I didn't really, like, fully comprehend it, and, like, I mean, I grew up with you being an alcoholic, so, like, I just, like, assumed that was, like, normal. So, like, when I, like, went to other people's houses and, like, no one would be drinking, it'd be kind of funny, because I'd be like, what?
Wow, so my drink, you actually thought it was normal for...
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Parent to just be drinking every day, all day, be drunk.
Yeah, for the longest time, and I just, like, I don't know, like, I remember you and Mom arguing a lot, like, when I was younger, but I, like, never really, like, understood it, so I just, like, but as I've gotten older, obviously, I've been more.
It's hard to understand.
It's impacted me, like, in school the most.
How did it affect you in school, then?
Well, because more as I got older, but it just, you and Mom would be arguing, and I'd be trying to, like, do homework upstairs or in my room, and it just...
So just like your home life was a lot tougher, and like you said, for a while you thought it was normal, not understanding that that wasn't typically how households are supposed to be run.
Yeah, and also, like, you would go, like, missing, or, like, and I just, like, assumed that was just normal. Like, it just, people needed breaks, so I just, I don't know, it's definitely, again, like, obviously now I understand it a lot more, but.
When did you realize that my drinking and how you were kind of, the things you were around, when did you realize that that wasn't normal?
That's a really hard question. I don't know when I noticed that, like, it wasn't normal. Maybe it's just because it just, like, Mom used, like, as I got older, Mom talked about it more with me, and, like, I, like, heard it more, and, I mean, I was in school, and, like, they talk about alcohol, and, like...
Oh, they actually talk about it in school?
Yeah, they talk about, like, being an alcoholic and, like, being on drugs, and I just was like, oh, wow, that sounds familiar, and I guess it just kind of, like, clicked.
School ratted me out. That's why I didn't stay in school. I always knew school was bad.
I don't know. Actually, I learned it in middle school, so you would have gotten that education.
Had I have went, I was already skipping school a lot at that point. So I had heard it before, but recently you had told me yourself that at one point you actually hated me. And we're very close right now, but there was a time period where you were not too thrilled with me.
I want to say it was like, it was definitely my sophomore year. Like, 100%, that was when you went to jail, was my sophomore year. So I
went to jail.
But it was, but like leading up to that.
Yeah, because a lot of people don't know, when I told my going to jail story, I didn't tell a lot of that, because the video would have just taken forever, but some of the extra stuff that a lot of people didn't probably see or hear about was me going to jail. We lost our house, and you and Mom had to pack everything out.
Yeah, but it was before that, like, that it was, and obviously you didn't know about it, but, like, I didn't like being home alone with you. Like, I hated you. Like, I don't even think it had anything to do with your drinking. I think it could have been just because, like, just...
Wait, what other reason would you have?
Well, no, like, just because, like, built up resentment for, like, so, like, even when you weren't, like, drunk, or, like, even if I knew you weren't drinking, I just, like, I've just seen you that way for so long that I just...
You were over it.
I was over it. Also, when I was a sophomore, like, that's when I started coming down and, like, yelling at you guys.
Yeah, well, she actually started, we had arguments at home, me and Lisa. She would just start coming down, and it would turn into a 3-way argument because she was definitely over. I do remember that. And that did start right before jail. By the way, when I was on probation and they were coming to the house, Do you remember them ever coming to the house and coming
Yeah,
to the
do you
house?
remember when I was home alone and they banged on the door?
Yes.
And I was super scared because I was home alone and I thought I was gonna like die.
She thought somebody was trying to break into the door because probation had knocked on the door so loud.
No,
because
it wasn't. They banged on it and they were like yelling and screaming, and I literally thought that I was gonna die.
And they thought the reason why they did this, I'll defend them a little bit here, was because the TV was on and we had no curtain in our big bay window, so they assumed I was inside hiding, which a lot of people do on probation. Me, I always answered the door, whether I was in the right or wrong. I just always answered the door. I always figured that was the better way to handle things. But they were pounding on the door, and I found out from my probation officer that they were doing that because they thought I was inside hiding somewhere, and she's upstairs like freaking out, and I'm telling her like, we gotta call the cops. I'm trying to rush home. And it was a scary time. Luckily, within about 4 or 5 minutes of this happening, which seemed like an eternity at the time, I put 2 and 2 together. I go, hold on a sec. It's probably probation. And I was able to get all my PO, and I was able to let her know and kind of calm it all down.
I don't think I've ever told you or mom this, but like I used to think like, cause you get like not violent, but you get loud and you like start hitting things or like you get scary, like super scary. And I remember like, for the longest time, I was so scared you were gonna hit mom. Like I knew you wouldn't, but you drunk is just like a whole different side of you.
It's a wild card.
And I was so scared. And so like my freshman year of high school, like I didn't really say much because I don't remember. We lived at
We were at Vic's.
We were at Vic's, but I don't think like I like had the courage to. But like sophomore year, I remember sophomore year is when I went to therapy too.
It was, yeah.
I had a hard year that year.
It was a rough year.
And like I was starting to get into a lot more fights with mom, and like it affected mom because you would make her mad and then she'd take it out on me, and then I just had to take it, and like it just was bad. But like I used to be super scared that you were gonna hit mom, and so like eventually like I built up the courage to just go downstairs and like yell at you guys, and like I would just sit there crying in my room for like years beforehand.
How was that? Like knowing that you felt that way, but having to live with somebody still, and I'm assuming you were basically having to put on a front at that point.
Yeah, I'm a really great actor.
Because I had no clue. Until...
Well, because I'm a nice person, and like I don't like people to know that I don't like them. That's a whole different story now, but
whole
like,
other video.
Like I didn't want to deal with it, and like I knew, because I know you, and I know that like you and drunk you are two very different people. Literally Jekyll and Hyde, like 100%. You're such a different person when you're drunk, and that's why like I always give you the benefit of the doubt. But like it got to the point when you were just always drunk, or you always had like some sort of alcohol in you, that it just,
yeah,
I got so sick of it. Like I have like not every single memory of you like since like the beginning of my childhood, like of meeting you, aren't bad,
right?
But you know, I definitely have had those moments.
And the sad part is, though, even the good ones, there was probably alcohol involved because I was living off alcohol, for so long.
I don't know, this goes back to like my childhood, but like I remember when you broke the windshield. I was in the car, and I remember it was a huge argument, and I was in the car, and I like was so scared, and like I've always like, I don't really think of it like often, but it's definitely something that I used to think about when I was scared you're gonna like hit mom or something. Like I just remember that scene.
For the record, never hit mom.
No, he didn't. He didn't. I want.
Not that I'm trying to take a high position here because I don't deserve that. I'm just upset. While we're talking about this, I just make sure everybody knows I never hit my wife.
He did.